Already had a party, but didn't remember.
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it.
What do you think it's called though?
Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving it. Diving in glory.
Welcome back, Diving for Glory, episode 28. Ooh, what it do? Welcome back, Diving for Glory, season 2, episode 28. I'm your host, Mr. Pep Corsiola. My man, Sir Solomon, what it do?
Ain't shit. What's good?
Oh, shit, Van Dyke. Yeah. Moving along to the very beginning, we are here, man. We are back. We got some good games for you. We got Classico. We got fucking Dortmund feeling the pressure. We got derbies galore. We got the North London derby. We got the Merseyside derby. Man, as always, EPL review, the rest of the league reviews, Champions League preview. We're going to look at Europa as well. And as always, our prestigious and egregious awards section. Don't forget, Diving for Glory posts every Monday and Thursdays after Champions League, which is this week. These are leg twos. So after this week, we start to see who will be in the quarterfinals of the Champions League. Excitement abounds. Yay. Don't forget, divingforglory.com, iTunes, YouTube, posting every Monday, and at Diving for Glory at Twitter or on Twitter and Facebook as well. And with that, the boots are laced, jerseys tucked, just a cup. Diving for Glory, man, let's go. For real, man. Fuck off, Mourinho. What a hater pundit. The fuck? All right. Welcome back. We will start it off with one of the teams who has been the banes of Mourinho's existence, followed by a team that is his former team, who he kind of acts like he wants to get back in a relationship with, but I don't know.
Who used to be the vein of his existence.
Who used to be as well, absolutely. Start you off with the Classico. This was a monumental Classico. A lot of things changed after this game. Barcelona, with their 1-0 victory, became the all-time leader in Classico victories.
Yes, just as Ivan Rakitic had planned.
Man, there has been some gold on Bleacher Report in regards to the cartoons and such. They got the one where they're like, the motherfuckers are like ironing their clothes, sitting in the recliner, like, yeah, we're just at home in the Bernabeu.
That's what happens when you lose, or basically when you drop points in 11 of the last 18 times you've met at home. Barca has taken from Real Madrid over the last 18 games, I think, 11 wins.
Yeah.
And then another 3 or 4 draws.
Yeah.
So it's a complete ownership of their house. They did it not once, but twice this week. This week in 4 days.
Wow.
On Wednesday, they casually dismantled them because Luis Suarez needed to be back on form. So he had a couple of goals, and Varane own goal completed a 3-0. For this weekend, again on Saturday, a Rakitic chip from a Sergio Roberto assist completes the 1-0 in a very kind of boring game, but it just shows the amount of dominance Barca have shown over Real Madrid recently, and it's hilarious that they've never played each other in the Champions League because everybody except Barcelona doesn't know how to beat Real Madrid apparently.
Yeah, that is. And last time they did, I believe Barcelona won. That was the year that of all those Clásicos with Mourinho, right?
Yes, they did win. The year that Pepe was man marking Messi.
Yeah.
Man marking, I mean kicking.
Seems that they have not let go of those tactics. Ramos with an elbow to the grill.
Yes.
To Messi's grill right at the end of the half.
Did you see the reverse trip?
Yeah. Oh, yes,
He
yes,
kind of just let Messi slide and gave him the old schoolboy trip move. Like it was Sergio Ramos was in full Sergio Ramos form, and they didn't do much. He got himself suspended for the next game.
So
Now he's suspended for the next 2 games in Europe and the next game in the league.
And Solari is totally like, we battled hard, we did good, Bale and Kroos, you know. What is his deal here, man? Is he just
He's just
trying to hold the locker room?
I mean, yeah. And he's basically trying not to lose the job. As soon as if they get eliminated from the Champions League, he will see the door. But the thing is, Gareth Bale apparently left the stadium before the game even ended after being jeered for 60 minutes in a game that he did nothing. But in all fairness, like, yeah, he did nothing also, but the midfield was totally dominated, so neither did Karim Benzema. And at the time, they were mentioning statistics, and before he got subbed out, like a few minutes before that, they were saying that he had touched the ball like 11 times.
I love the revelation of his nickname amongst the Real Madrid players.
The golfer.
The golfer.
Yeah, and that's what set all this off. In the previous game, he had scored a penalty and shrugged off the celebration with his teammates.
Why is he so intent?
Surly is the word.
But why is he so intent on staying there? Why? I mean, like he's never really been welcomed by the fans. It's I mean, like, I get it. It's Real Madrid, but like,
fuckload of money.
I mean, you make that somewhere else.
How many teams?
A handful that'll pay for him too.
Of the top teams, he's at the world's best. He's living in Spain. He's fine. Apparently, he doesn't give a fuck what people think. He just does his job and goes home and.
I know.
He does not seem like the kind of British player that should be playing outside of the shores of England and Britain, because his personality just doesn't seem like.
It's a douche, man.
Yeah. And like to be there, 5 years now, 6th season, and he doesn't even speak Spanish.
Yeah, that's pretty whack.
Doesn't try, you know. Like,
and then you're gonna get mad when they call you out on that.
And like, if you hang out with somebody that doesn't even speak your language for 6 years, I would be able to communicate with them. You don't have to speak the same language, but it just shows how funky you are that they don't even fuck with you.
Yeah, it's true. On the Barcelona side, I mean, like you said, kind of walk in the park in a way. How much has the Ronaldo leaving this matchup influenced the what do you want to call it, the fanfare behind it, the excitement, the intensity? I mean, it just didn't feel like what is. I mean, obviously they played a lot in the last month, but
even with Ronaldo there, Barcelona has been the better team if you look at the lineups top to bottom for the past few years. But Ronaldo, like Messi, is such a game winner and has the determination. Like, they played at a higher level when he was there in the games that mattered. You know what I'm saying? And it's easier to do so when you have a point guy that you're rallying behind. Just like, if you get him the ball, we will at least get something out of this game, you know? And even then, they were struggling versus Barcelona. Now, without even that threat, Vinicius Jr., he's fine. He dribbles. He's cute. But, like, you knew the whole time you were watching him that he was not going to score. He didn't even get close. And, like, he's just big-upping the crowd and stuff. I'm like, all right. Like, if that's the front line, is a Gareth Bale that ain't shit right now. Benzema, who's been pretty fine, but needs service, and the midfield was completely cut off. Kroos and Luka Modric, like, in front of Casemiro, as far as facing Barca, like, that's not very challenging for them. And one of the biggest opponents Barca have had on Real Madrid over the recent seasons, next to Sergio Ramos, is Marcelo. Marcelo has caused pandemonium a lot of times against Barcelona, and Santi Solari didn't want to use him, so that kind of made it easier on that end. Vinicius would have been aided a lot with his overlaps.
Yeah, I think in some manner you feel like Solari is like, yeah, all right, good. I'm glad we got away with only a 1-0. Like it just didn't like they didn't feel like they really came to with any belief, any intent.
Yeah, but like you can at least like if you're Solari, instead of just putting out this team in a 4-3-3 that you know they're better than, you know. Instead of doing that, you could have set up a certain way so that they couldn't play. Maybe put a double pivot and do a 4-2-3-1, and just try to get at him in a different manner. This was just so predictable, and he showed how in over his depth he was, and that he doesn't he's not qualified for this job. Yeah, Barca wins a lot of these games, but Barca loses games to other opponents. There's ways to get them to drop points.
Absolutely.
Especially at home. Real Madrid Stadium, Bernabeu, is supposed to be one of the most intimidating places. And to just lay down, and I know, you'll have the bitch-ass excuse of, they lost 5-1 without Messi when I didn't play. I mean, when I wasn't coaching. But I think that they should have at least been even close. They didn't have anything in this game.
They didn't. Man of the match. Kind of obvious.
Yeah, gotta give it to Mr. Rakitic.
He balled even outside of the goal.
He balled and he's on this point. Mourinho was right. He is one of the most overrated players,
Underrated.
and underrated players. Oh shit! But in the World Cup, Luka Modric got so much of the credit, but the way he played behind him is what freed him up, and that only happened about 2 games left in qualifications, and he volunteered to take less of a credit kind of position to make that happen, and they went all the way to the finals. In Barca, he never quote unquote shines, but he plays with the most instruction of the whole team on regular,
yeah, he's most consistent.
Yeah, and they change him around, move him around. He does different jobs. Sometimes they have him man marking, sometimes they have him in box. The way he plays and how he takes instruction, he might be, if not the most underrated, he's the most coachable player you'll see.
And punk ass Mourinho just out there throwing shots still at people. Dude's he should step up his Instagram game and maybe he'd be more. I was like, oh my god, dude. I want him to stay a pundit. I don't even want him to get a job. Just stay there, brood,
and just talk shit.
Oh my god! Yeah.
But then what happens when all the guys from his generation just basically retire in a couple of years, and then he has nothing to say?
Oh man!
Then they take his job as a pundit.
I don't know, man. He's controversial to say the least, man. Or headline making, whatever you want to call it, man. Yeah, man. Total domination by Barcelona this year. Mighty fascinating. Especially when, I just remember at the beginning of last year in the Super Cup, we're watching this shit damn, this is going to be a tough year for Barca. And they've just been ransacking Real Madrid ever since, really.
Yes, and it's this game, the last game, I mean, not the Copa del Rey game, which was a complete domination, but this game felt like Barca could even play badly and beat them.
Yeah.
Messi was non-factor in this game. Luis Suarez was very wasteful, back to form after his nice game, but it was, I don't know. And if your team is going to be based around Vinicius, then you should figure out a lot more ways to get him open. Mm-hmm. Because if they give him more chances, he might, in the first game, he might have done more damage against Semedo.
Yep. And I'm with you. He just felt like he wasn't going to do it by himself. He wasn't going to break that down over there. He kept coming from the same angle every time. Yep.
Big up Lenglet. Lenglet,
whatever. I don't know.
But that dude has been solid after initially struggling. We thought it was going to be really, really bad that Simon Umtiti was out this whole time. Now he's back, and Lenglet is actually keeping him still on the bench because he's playing so good.
Little Lang. Word up. All right, from the top of La Liga to the top of Bundesliga. Augsburg, barely out of the relegation zone, hosting top of the table, BVB, Borussia Dortmund.
Who are in the middle of a major bowel movement.
Who apparently are letting the Tottenham Spursy rub off on them just by being on the field with them for Champions League. What do they need?
They need to show more dong.
Dong?
They got
Dong
Two
one.
goals by
Dong
some
one
guy
G.
called Mr. G. He showed he was a straight G, and he has
Dong
a dong
one.
for
Mr.
the big
Dong
moment.
one. Mr. Dong.
You know what I'm saying? The Far
Oh.
East Don Juan is called Dong Juan. He's a real G. The dong for the occasion, you know. He rose to the occasion, though.
He
Mr.
sure
Dong
did.
really rose to the occasion on this one. And he brought the house down. Went for the tune of 2 goals against Borussia Dortmund, who, even though Marco Reus made his return, looks nothing like himself yet. And they look like they're running out of steam.
Looks like they're a little nervy too, as you would say that, as Sir Alex would say, squeaky bum time here, and they feel Bayern down their neck, and it's starting to show. Man, they were down 2-0 in this game. Like they pulled one back to make it 2-1, but what the fuck, man?
Dude, sometimes you can coach, but you just don't have enough dong on your team.
Dude, 5 big chances. Look at this lack of clinicalism. That's not a word.
Yeah.
5 big chances.
Yep.
4 of them missed. 14 shots in the box, dude. And they only hit 1 by Mr. Tupaco.
Yeah.
Go ahead and rock that.
But they set up in a game when they had 72% possession, 17 total shots. Like you said, they just seem nervy. You know?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's not like they came out and just got.
You can't have 14 shots inside the box.
Yep.
And only have total of 8 shots on target.
I believe the keeper or somebody came out, or maybe even Hakimi or somebody came out and said this is just not play befitting of a league leader, and you just have to agree here.
Yeah. They really, I think, are suffering from altitude sickness. And the other
They've been at the
team-
top all season pretty much.
Yeah, but it's like even last season, if you remember, it wasn't Bayern that started off the league leaders. They actually fired their coach in the middle of the season last season, and by this time they had already taken their rightful place atop. And that's what's happening, because now Bayern, we will see later with their results, but they're only 2 goal difference behind them, you know?
Yeah, that game there, I believe, right after the international break they play.
Yeah.
Oh. Who's your man of the match here?
How can you not give it to Dong Wan?
PM sub hose down.
Yeah, this is for the G's. Dong Wan G. You're the man.
Fuck
Even
yes.
before you did this to Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah, for real.
For being called Dong Wan G.
For sure, man. Diving for glory, man. Borderline racism all the time.
I was just making dong jokes. And the team with the dong won the game.
Slap him around, son. All right, let's move along. Move on over to Premier League. There were 2 big derby games here. We'll start you off with Saturday morning, 7:30 a.m. at the Bar, North London, Tottenham. It's Tottenham. It's Tottenham, lads.
Yes, the bar is not in North London at that time.
Tottenham hosting Arsenal. Talk about it, Sir Solomon.
Yes, I like that you managed to mispronounce Arsenal.
I try, man. I try.
But Mr. Unai Emery, a person who's really proven himself to be aggressively average over this course of his Arsenal stay so far, in my opinion, set up his team in a lineup that a lot of people didn't understand, but kind of made sense for some, other than some small tweaks. He's been playing the tank, Kolasinac as a fucking wing back. He decided to stop that. Mr. Nacho Monreal was back playing left back, so he decided to play a standard 4-man backline. Except his right back, he decided, should I use Carl Jenkinson, who's a right back? He said, nah. Then put in Mr. Doran, or whatever the
Mr.
fuck.
Do It All.
Yes.
Mr. fucking
Calamity
All
Jane
World.
himself. Anyways, so he puts him there. He plays a conservative right back game, but ends up later giving up a penalty. in the middle, he had Guendouzi and Xhaka, who had a decent time of it the first half. But it had been predestined that Guendouzi would be coming off for Torreira at half time. So they made that change, essentially wasting the sub.
Yep.
And up front, they had Lacazette because the coach likes to play 4-2-3-1 and doesn't believe that they can play two strikers. And
He's
he
done that a
decided,
lot this year, though. He played both, but
I mean, in
But
big
he hasn't
games.
been-
In big games.
okay.
Yeah, so I thought that he could have brought in Aubameyang in Alex Iwobi's position as a winger,
Yeah.
which is how they've been playing nicely.
Yep.
But in anyways, Alex Iwobi comes in.
Lacazette was pissed.
Yeah, because
Like a 55th minute sub or something weird, dude.
and it was not in any way a performance-based sub. It wasn't really a tactics-based sub. He just wanted to say, "You played, now he gets to play."
He wanted to
And
maintain
it's
his
ridiculous.
shape and just bring in these players, these 1-for-1 subs, not really to change anything, not really reading the game.
And sometimes when you do that, it's fucked up because, like, if you like Lacazette missed,
Couple chances.
yeah, and especially like right before he came off, he missed a really good chance.
He did, which made it feel like punishment in a way.
Exactly, and like this is what I mean. Like Unai Emery's man management, I have doubts about because he could have given him a little more time or whatever, but like
It
didn't.
My
like,
thought was like, and it's easy to go hindsight, of course, but my thought was like he thought it right and then he overthought it. Like the formation
if you-
was cool.
then play it.
Yeah.
Then play it. But like for like substitutions, like all over the field. Like he made his 3 subs were like for like. He took out Guendouzi and brought out Torreira. Yep. He took out Ramsey and brought in Ozil.
Yep.
He took out Lacazette and brought in Aubameyang. Yep. That's essentially like staying put. Yep. Like you made no in-game adjustments. Your game plan was this is what we're gonna do, and this it's ridiculous. Which is also why Arsenal away from home, other than the occasional draw like this, is not getting anything against the big teams.
Agreed. And so in light, let's just shift it away from Emery. Let's shift it to the actual gameplay here. 1-1 fair result. You think Arsenal did? I felt like Arsenal was probably first half looked good, man. I thought he had the tactics right.
If they had executed, and if Lacazette has finished his basic sitter, and Aubameyang upon coming on had finished off his dive penalty, they would have got a 3-1 win. Like they were the better team, but that's not to say that Bernd Leno did not make some serious saves either. Mm-hmm. Like the double save that he pulled was like from Sissoko and I want to say Harry Kane was the Bernd Leno had some big saves in this game. So a lot of the action, was he had 2 good saves, both from inside the box. So. But I thought Tottenham could really take advantage of this team. But now switching over to their team, I was very surprised that Victor Wanyama, who we didn't know even existed again, just decided to be a starter.
Starter.
Yes. And they played the 3 backs with Danny Rose and Kieran Trippier. But I thought that Jan Vertonghen as a wing back lately had been like a revelation. Like he's been balling out. And I thought this was not the move to make. I just I would have rather they had more him further up.
What about Christian Eriksen in this game? A couple.
It did a few things, but like he doesn't take over games in big like the way I would like. Harry Kane does that. Even Dele Alli does that. But like Christian Eriksen, he's a classy guy to watch, and he does a lot. But like, I don't think he takes over enough of these big games as he should for the skill set that he has and the assist machine that he is.
Yeah.
If anything, I always was most looking at Son as their biggest threat because like that boy stretches the field like no fucking other, and they didn't even get him involved as much as they needed to. And I thought that would be like they would identify Mustafi and just go after him with Son, but they didn't do it enough.
So the this 3-4 that he played in the back, is this like a response to the 4-2 like them just getting rocked in that game.
You know, that game is funny because outside of the result, it was a very even game.
Yep.
And I would have played it again, like, way if I was him. Because, like, if you have when you look at game plan, sometimes certain things you have to look at the results irrespective, you know? Like, you can't let that affect you. If he did, then that's just a bitch-ass move because they played much better in the game they lost 4-2 than they did in the game that they tied 1-1.
Let's talk about the Tottenham penalty. What's your thoughts on that?
He was offside, and Mustafi is a fucking idiot. The next season, that would never be a penalty because it's like both penalties would not be a penalty because of VAR next season.
So did you see the little article that talked about how that they are like, even if the guy is offside, if there's a foul, you're supposed to treat it as if he wasn't offside. It's ridiculous. It makes absolutely no sense. So they called it correctly in the way that they read, the way that they interpreted it. You know, like, even if I was just like, that makes no sense. It makes zero sense.
In Champions League, for example, and in various leagues that have VAR, they've been told to not raise the flag because VAR will catch it if it's close, and then like you said, like a penalty or a goal will happen, and then just wait and we'll see. But if you don't have that fallback, and if it's just like don't raise the flag and just give them a penalty if it's a foul, then I think that's a ridiculous rule.
Agreed. And the Aubameyang. So again, back to
it
the
looked
subs.
shook before he sat on it.
He did. It looked bad. It was soft. It was such a soft penalty.
Like I would have
or penalty kick.
Taken out Iwobi or Mkhitaryan, who also was like a whatever player.
Who? Mkhitaryan? Oh, I thought he balled out this game. I thought he was like he was doing a lot of other things in this game. He got back, played a lot of good defense in this game. I mean, he's not that guy, man. He's not that guy that's going to take, like you said, like for Eriksen. He's not going to take over. He's not going to. But
he had 4 dribbles attempted, out of which 2 were successful. He had 4 crosses, out of which 1 was successful, and he had 1 key pass. He was fouled once. But what I'm saying is, going forward, you can have a Henrik Mkhitaryan if you have a lot of other guys creating. But if he's taken up, like, I would have no issues with him coming off and Aubameyang coming on, like, at all. Like, even after balling out in that game, like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's not just about that. Like, you have to bring something different. It was a very traditional 4-2-3-1 that brought no surprise element to it. Yep. The winger was always doing that, you know, like he wasn't cutting in. He wasn't like we were talking about Vinicius earlier. I knew for a fact that Henrik Mkhitaryan was not scoring a goal in this game. He balled out, okay, nice. But, like, you knew watching him that it was just some run-around shit.
Agreed with that.
So I would have, like, I think the coach really left points on the table because, like, if he made... And why is Denis Suarez on loan at Arsenal?
Yeah. So, you know, just to have another creative player on the bench. Who would you consider man of the match?
I'd have to give it to Harry Kane because he earned and scored a penalty when we saw in that same game how difficult it is to do such a thing. Somebody had to take it. Harry Kane, take a bow.
All right, we're up. Tottenham Arsenal. Tottenham has fallen back into that top 4 battle, it seems like.
Why does Kieran Trippier look like an English version of Joe Dirt?
I don't know why. Is there a punchline?
No, I'm just curious.
You're just lamenting.
I was just like looking at him and I was like, oh, okay. I know where you'd live if you're in the United States.
Oh man, yes, Trippier tripping these days. Man, Tottenham 3 points up on United, 4 points up on Arsenal. They had a 10-point gap on this recently. Whoops. Yes. It happens.
And they were way closer to the top of the
top of the table.
Yeah, now they are 10 points away from the top of the table.
Speaking of the top of the table, Liverpool.
They don't know nothing about that.
Not no more. They were away. That means they were 0.5 miles away from their stadium, from Anfield, which means they were at Everton for the Merseyside derby.
Essentially a couple of blocks away.
I thought there was a good chance that they would smack the fuck out of Everton. Everton
talk
played
too much.
them. Everton played them tough the first match and got
They talk
very
too much.
unlucky. I love the shit talking beforehand.
I think they should have shut the fuck up and just done it. Because after playing a 0-0 against Everton for the whole fucking game last time, a game that Everton actually really played well, and Liverpool, that was one of the first times we saw that they had a lack of midfield creativity. And through a Jordan Pickford mistake, Divock Origi scores, and Jurgen Klopp acted like he won the World Cup and Olympics and everything at the same time.
Yep.
And this time he started talking again. Like before that, he's like, "Yeah, this is going to be like a final." And
For them, what do you mean a mid fucking table team that has
like the most firmly mid-table team ever. Like they're,
I mean,
they're
it's
not
a
going up,
derby
they're not
game.
going down. They just want to play this
it's
game.
a World Cup final for you, bruh.
And that's essentially what Mr. Silva, the coach of Everton, said. Was like, look, I remember how he celebrated it like it was a World Cup. But like for us, he's like, we like playing it. It's a derby. It's a good game.
Yeah.
But anyways, that's what happens when you talk so much that at the end of the 0-0 game, a ball boy claps at you and says, how was that final?
Oh, man. So what's your reading of the game here? Well, Liverpool unable to capitalize. They had 3 big chances, missed them all.
All right, about Liverpool, a few things. First of all, this is one tweet I saw was Mane and Salah need to go to Friendship Park in camp because they play like they don't like each other.
It's kind of true, huh?
I'm like, I don't think they care about each other. They're just both basically trying to score. They're your quintessential selfish winger. You got 2 wide receivers. They're both going to want a ball, you know? Mm-hmm. But anyways, the problem is that when they got Xherdan Shaqiri at the beginning of in the summer for very cheap, I thought, I don't know what everybody else thought, but I thought since he was a winger for most of his career, starting at Bayern Munich and everything, he was in to help depth issues by spotting Mane, by spotting Mo Salah, and that hasn't been the case. That they've been playing him in midfield to give guys because they've also had injuries. But in this game, you could see that Mo Salah is clearly very his fitness, he's been around to the ground basically, and Sadio Mane has been on a streak of games, but in this game it kind of went to a halt. If there's some sort of wins above replacement statistic, and we could see where Roberto Firmino lies in relation to Divock Origi, that would explain a lot about things also. But they he put out a kind of conservative team that didn't create. And when questioned about that, he got mad. I'm very disappointed by your question. What do you mean? This is not PlayStation. We try to win. We always want to win. And I'm just like, yeah, but you can put out a team to dominate and win, or you can put out a team to try to steal a win. And the kind of team you had out there was like, we got injuries. They're Everton. I can beat them, so I'm going to fucking put in a couple of guys and do it.
Yeah, and Fabinho wasn't super impressive this game. Wijnaldum either, and that's your, him and Jordan Henderson, that's your midfield.
But even Fabinho plays in the holding point, but Jordan Henderson and Wijnaldum has been good this season, but they're effort guys. This is like the Kovacic and Kante and Jorginho, and there's not any creation coming out of, and Keita, even though he hasn't been that good this season, was on the bench. Lallana was on the bench. Ox, when he gets back, he's going to be on the bench. One of those guys has to take one of these spots because the front 3 get isolated a lot. Now, the counter argument is this is part of our plan. Our counters are usually good. If Mo Salah had scored his chances, yeah, but you should have a system that allows Mo Salah to escape from Luca Digne. You can't put him in his pocket.
Digne was awesome in this game.
Digne and Keane balled out in this game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. So Everton, definitely pleased with the point here. Pickford played well. I'm sure he feels a lot better after this game than the last one. I mean, that they executed their game plan. I thought they were even dangerous to a point. There was moments they could have, even statistically, it doesn't really show, but
Yeah, they sacrificed.
they had anything in the final third, man.
Yeah, they were fine with what they got, but they sacrificed Richarlison for Theo Walcott, and on a creative level, it doesn't seem a smart move. But Walcott was very disciplined, ran a lot, even kind of bundled into a couple of guys, and he was a headache the whole game on his side. And by the time Richarlison did come into the game, he had ran his guys enough to where they were kind of tired. So I think that Silva, in this particular game, outcoached Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah, and two wonderful defensive plays by Digne and Keane.
Yeah, Michael Keane and Digne, and Jordan Pickford had some good saves too.
And I thought I've been dying to say this to somebody just for the fuck of it, but the breakaway that Mo Salah had, he just opened up because he's way too early, and he just showed Pickford where he was going with that. Like he definitely, like last year, he would have broke that off, man.
But even if he had shown him last year, you'd have burned him.
Yeah.
Like I think that Mo Salah was playing a step slower than usual. Like his decision making, like he didn't look like a fresh player.
He's played every game in the Premier League this year, averaging 85 minutes.
That'll do it. We talked about this with Willian earlier in the season. Like Willian has played all but 3 games this season, and he looks like he's ran to the ground. And they need to work something out. Like play one game in a 4-4-2, play a bunch of midfielders, and just something. But like you can't play him every game, all game. We were complaining about that with Mane last season, and now it's Mo Salah's turn, apparently. Roberto Firmino has been ran to the ground to where he's actually injured.
It's true. Yeah, Sadio Mane has at least had a couple games off this year, but Van Dijk, I just wanted to mention as well. He's just owning shit in this game.
Owning shit, true, and he had the most clearances, I think, of the season. I think in terms of, he had 13 clearances. But Everton's game plan coming at him was very rudimentary. Like, this is the kind of game meant for Virgil van Dijk to shine too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
He's supposed to own the game.
Yeah, he won 14 duels in this game, 13 clearances. Like, clearly head and shoulders above the competition, like above the offense that he's facing,
Mm-hmm. Word up. So, who would be your man of the match?
Let's give it to Jordan Pickford, just because last time he was such a joke, and this time he did make a couple of really good saves. And
did you see the superimposed one with Pep hugging Pickford?
Yeah, deserved it, man. You were a jackass last time, but you had 3 really amazing saves. So
absolutely. All right, word up. And that is our top 4, back 4, moving to the midfield.
Hasta la vista, baby.
Klopp, tell us about top of the league.
Hasta la vista.
Bow. Ooh. Yeah, EPL review time for your ass. We already hit you off with the Tottenham Arsenal game. Manchester United, man, hosting Southampton, doing very Fergie-like things.
True. Southampton also showing that this season they like to play United.
Yeah.
I mean, they played against them earlier, one of Mourinho's last games, and they played to a 2-2 draw.
Mm-hmm.
And now they got ahead of them quick, fast, as they would say, and had United on the back foot.
They were 1-0, and they ended up tying this game 2-2, and then got the 3-2 victory for United. Lukaku with 2 goals in this game.
Yeah, this is a game made for Lukaku.
Non-top 16.
He was dominant and playing. They tried to play Sanchez in the hole behind them, but he played 52 minutes and now he's out for the rest of the season. But playing the 2 strikers like that with somebody in the hole, ideally with your boy bank robber mask face.
Oh, the
Lingard.
yeah.
That's what they would want to do, but
Man, a year in now, who won the Alexis Sanchez Mkhitaryan trade?
I have the answer.
You said what?
I have the answer.
Yes?
The agent.
The agent, right?
The only person that was a winner in that deal is the agent, because Manchester got shit. Now he's injured. Mkhitaryan has been a no-show.
Yeah, he's been playing, but
Both teams have not really thrived. They both play better without those players.
it's amazing, man. Yeah, word up. So 3-2, United take all 3 points, man. Doing what they do. Solskjaer channeling his inner Fergie.
Big goal by Andres Pereira, who has been coming in since Solskjaer became coach and really been putting in a lot of work as a box-to-box midfielder. Scott McTominay played too, but it was fine.
Let's also mention the mini drama at the end of Pogba taking the penalty instead of giving it to Lukaku. This is just Quint
And then doing what?
missing it.
Yeah.
With the missing part is whatever, but
But
of
that's
course
his penalty.
Lukaku
Like,
is
he's
like
a penalty taker.
he is, but you're supposed to be the leader.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be like, my man, get your hat trick.
It depends. Mr. Paul Pogba right
it's
now.
Pogba, I get it.
Yeah. They got bigger questions to answer, but like also to me, yeah, it is being the leader. But if I've decided that Paul Pogba is my penalty taker, and we have a Champions League game coming up, and we get a penalty before it, Paul Pogba doesn't take that motherfucking penalty.
Hold up, you mean the game that he's not gonna play in?
Nah, that I had forgotten.
Motherfucker.
No, then you sit his ass down and let Lukaku take it. He's not going to play in
for
that
sure.
game either.
Yeah, for sure. Even if he does. Yes. Manchester United, just quick mention, Sanchez went off, probably done for the year is what they're saying.
2 months.
They'll be looking at the PSG game with 10 senior players injured. Cray. Moving along, Burnley hosting Crystal Palace. Palace on a nice little run here, 3-1 Palace.
Yeah, Palace is in a good run of form, and the Michi Batsuya, he alone is looking like it's already huge success. And they had a Phil Bardsley on goal, and then Michi Batsuya and Mr. Wilfred Zaha himself, 3-1. And surprise, Peter Crouch coming on doesn't really say that.
Zaha. Check out this.
Haircut.
Brighton hosting Huddersfield, and Brighton get that 1-0 over pretty much relegated Huddersfield.
Yeah, Brighton doing their thing, man. Like I like Brighton. They have the only black manager.
They'll be staying up. It sure seems like.
Mm-hmm.
Bournemouth decided they didn't want to play this game, even though they showed up. 1-0 Manchester City. 0 shots.
I don't know
Period.
if that's how you can qualify it. Like, if you take off your fan hat and Bournemouth is facing Manchester City, and they hold Manchester City team that has fucked up bigger opponents 5-0, 4-0, and they play them to a 1-0, and they're still in it to the end of the game, I think that's an accomplishment. I don't think there's anything to be laughed at. I think that
I'm gonna laugh at 0 shots, man. They fucking destroyed Chelsea 4-0, and they're a much more pacey
Dude,
team.
a team that scored 0 shots only received 1 goal. So if you're laughing that hard, what's your team doing? They were playing like shit too.
No, for sure. One big chance. I mean, no, Bournemouth did what they came to do.
Yeah.
Granted, I mean, I'm not saying that.
Out of the two teams, they more successfully executed their game plan in that game than Manchester City. Manchester City's game plan had them opening Bournemouth up multiple times. Bournemouth were trying to get to 0, they got 1. So it's not a success, but like this, like what the fuck can they do against a team like that?
I don't know. More than what they did.
No, I disagree.
Okay. Word up. Manchester City back to the top of the fucking table.
Who, if Liverpool was not looking like such shit over the last couple of games in league,
4 games.
But I'm saying like the last 2 1-0s for City against West Ham and this, like they're getting their points, but the football hasn't matched some of the football we've watched lately. And Kevin De Bruyne going down in this game, I can't say it's a big loss just yet because this season they really haven't depended on it.
Yeah.
But we'll see how that affects them.
Yeah, they're not anticipating actually that he'll be gone for that long. It's a minor tweak, but we'll see. Wolves.
But big up Riyad Mahrez for coming on and having a big performance because a lot of the guys didn't.
Needed that. Wolves 2-0 over Cardiff B City.
Wolves had a couple of games where they kind of
took a nap.
Yeah, but it's a small team. They're good, but they don't have depth, so it's hard to be 100% all the time. Mm-hmm. And after that, they're riding their ship, and nothing does that better than playing against Cardiff City. Diogo Jota, all these Portuguese guys for Wolves have been revelations this season, dude.
Mm-hmm. West Ham 2-0 over Newcastle.
Yes. West Ham get on you early, and they're going to play. And this was a game where they scored in the 7th minute, a Declan Rice goal, and they balled out for the rest of it. And Newcastle, from down 2-0, is almost never going to come back at this point. They do not have any offense. They're a good team, but their whole game plan is based on stopping people from scoring on them. Because if they get scored on, this is a team that took 17 shots and only hit the target 2 times.
Yeah.
So, looking back at the previous game, this is a much more embarrassing output to me than having 0 shots on target when you really never took no shots. When you take 17 shots and you still can't find the target, now we have a conversation to have.
Watford 2-1 over Leicester City. Exciting game. Ending, at least.
Very exciting game.
One of the big things is the Vardy concussion.
No, the first big thing was that Vardy scored a goal in this game, and Vardy has scored the first goal for the last 4 managers at Leicester. So that was a bit of a...
It was after the concussion, too.
Yes. Don't remember none. But then he had to come the fuck off. But, hey, you watch American football, a lot of history has been made by people that don't remember it.
Well, I find it fascinating though, because you feel like it's only a matter of time before the concussion discussion gets full on with football. And I was watching the halftime of NBC, and they were like, "Nobody knows what the rules are." The one dude was like, "I don't even know what the rules are."
They aren't by design. There's really not that many rules. There's a couple of suggestions, but the whole culture is kind of where American sports culture was in the 80s. There is very Neanderthal, and looks in how they see things about injuries to players. There's the whole you make this much money to be just a football player to play a game, but yeah, if there is dangers to it, it has to there's not enough research done by the people that are actually running the game.
So, do you think that could there be a scenario where in these type of head injuries or whatever it is that you don't get penalized a sub?
I mean,
that's the big thing, right? The big thing about this is that substitutes are super valuable.
Technical. Yeah. So, I mean, essentially, I think that's where we're going to have to go. But that opens up a whole another...
People faking.
That's what I'm saying. They'll be like, I'm out. But... We'll see where they go with it. I think that's one. There's the reasons that they're not really approaching it is because the solutions would be just as problematic as the actual problem to them.
I also wonder what the coverage is in the other countries because it's different for the American coverage to be like that because of the NFL thing. But I wonder what the coverage is like in.
Yeah, CTE is not.
Yeah.
Most CTE research in soccer is done here in the United States because this is where there you have listeners and research is done with money and if somebody is not investing, it's not happening,
Yeah. Fulham hosting Chelsea. Chelsea sneak away with a 2-1. Did you watch that game?
No, I watched bits and pieces of it.
I did watch it.
The Jorginho goal was really nice.
It was.
And Fulham have been playing like that all season though.
Yeah.
They play nice. They get scored on more than they can score, and then they look nice. And oh my God, Fulham should have had something. And then next thing you know, they're getting relegated by April.
Yeah, they had a late goal called back for offside, which is good. It was a good call. Yeah, Chelsea, nervy win. But hey, man, all 3 points. Top of the Premier League stands as Manchester City 1 point up on Liverpool, who are 9 points up on Tottenham, with 3 points up on United. That's your top four. And so the top, Tottenham 61, Man United 58, Arsenal 57, Chelsea 56.
Chelsea have a game in hand.
Are you still of the mind frame that Tottenham are comfortable in that two of these teams cannot pass them?
I don't think they're comfortable by any means, but I don't think that two teams will pass Tottenham. I think that Tottenham has gone through their shit period. Their Harry Kane is now back. They're back to full form, and I think that they can.
They have City and Liverpool left on their schedule.
Yes, and Arsenal has United and I forget. I think
maybe Pool as well. I know Pool has two tough games. Yeah,
but like right now, it's not even just those games. Like you saw Burnley they just dropped points to Burnley 2-1 last week. You know.
And they're in a commanding position. We'll get to it a little later, but they're in a commanding position in their Champions League matchup. So if they advance there, that'll be interesting.
I don't think that is going to affect proceedings as much. They're going to have 2, maybe 3 extra games, but I think that the confidence of advancing can carry a lot of weight. In this scenario, I don't think that it's just as simple as being tired.
Yeah, I wasn't suggesting. I was just like,
I think that at this point, for example, if Borussia Dortmund come back and pull off a 4-0 and eliminate Tottenham, I think that would be a much bigger disaster than Tottenham having a lot of chance. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Which will be fascinating, right, for this matchup. Like I said, we'll get to it because both teams are kind of on a downturn.
On a desperate, they're having
that
desperate moment. That game seems like they said they collided and they've both had shit luck since.
Yep. Just as another quick top of the league for goals is Aguero with 18, Salah with 17, Harry Kane and Aubameyang both with 16. Eden Hazard leading the league with 11 assists. Ball out. All right, moving along. La Liga. We already mentioned the Clásico, and now we will hit you off with Alaves. Still keeping their top 4 hopes barely alive here with a 2-1 over Villarreal.
You are quickly looking like the Fulham of Spain for the season.
Villarreal, yeah.
Dude, Santi Cazorla fucking came back from almost getting amputated to get relegated.
Amputated. I wanted to make sure I mentioned that one because Sevilla 2-1 to Huesca.
Yes, and the powers to be at Sevilla are having serious meetings about the position of manager, and
absolutely,
he is not.
They've been in a free fall.
It's been in absolute free fall. The only thing that makes it interesting is that they're still in the Europa, so we'll see how that goes. But they might have to shake hand this guy soon.
And I also wanted to bring up that result because Huesca, even though they are at the bottom of the table, have been at the bottom of the table. They are 3 points from being clear of relegation. But relegation sits as Huesca, Rayo Vallecano, Villarreal, and Celta all within 3 points of each other, and you can throw Valladolid in there and make it 4 points. So that's actually become a race where it almost looked guaranteed.
In England, like it's very few teams fighting for the last spot, basically, whereas here there's 5 teams that are, like you said, within 4 points of each other, and 3 of those teams will be gone.
Peace. Real Betis hosting Getafe. Getafe get the 2-1, and they're sitting top 4.
Betis has been on a downturn too. They're European.
Yeah, they're still in line.
Loss kind of affected them, I think, the form wise.
Yep. Getafe top 4 at the moment, man. Atleti away to Real Sociedad, as we always talk about. That is a underrated match. Always tough to play at Real Sociedad. Yet they come away with the 2-0 with the
Archer.
The
Man.
Archer.
The unshakable. Never had a nervous moment in his whole life.
Right.
Alvaro Morata scored a double.
Rizes, man.
Did a fucking Archer celebration and everything.
I heard he looked like, I didn't see it, but I heard they said he's looking like, like motivated and angry and like fighting and like, like he actually led the line in this game.
Yeah, I mean, you have to. Like, Diego Costa's on the bench.
Which is like some, and of course I'm like on some whatever shit because he was 10 goals in his first 9 Chelsea games or something. So we'll see if he keeps that up.
I don't know. He's a guy that, like, from what I've seen, has a lot of fear in his,
I think,
and I don't think he's gonna be able to play an off game for Mr. Diego Simeone. I think he's gonna be jumping on him.
Well, it'll be interesting because, like, I think that the one thing you would surmise about Simeone is that he knows how to approach, whereas Mourinho knows how to only one way to it seems like one way to approach players. Simeone knows how to tailor his approach.
His actual players love playing for Simeone, but the one thing that they had was that not a lot of people that they've bought on the market have been able to survive and start on this team because he's so intense that like the training just takes so much out of them that they don't really. And you have to be of a certain mindset.
Yeah,
that's what makes Griezmann special, is because he's creative and everything, but like he's still a dog,
Yep.
And like if they can get stuff like out of Alvaro Morata, like this might be a very, very astute signing.
Yeah, for sure. Valencia 2-0 over Bilbao. They've been playing well lately too.
Sneakily climbing up the table.
Yes, they are a point back of Sevilla. So top of the table for La Liga sits as Barcelona, who are 7 points clear of Atleti, who are 5 points clear of Real Madrid, who are 6 points clear of Getafe. 4, 5, and 6 are separated by 5 points. Getafe, Alaves, Sevilla, and then right there you got Valencia and Betis and Sociedad all kind of creeping on that. Man, hell, Eibar too, if you really go there. Creeping on Sevilla, so...
Barca has scored 23 more goals than Real Madrid and conceded 6 less.
Yeah.
So that is a 29 goal difference,
Yeah, you would. Barcelona and Atleti still have a game to play this year, so 7 points is not that much, but it's certainly looking like a Barcelona kind of
Yeah, there's 12 games left. They might drop 6 or 7 points, but I don't see Atletico Madrid. They would basically have to run the table, and that's not going to happen, I don't think.
La Liga goal leaders, 25 for Lionel Messi. And even in second place, even in a down year, Luis Suarez has 16, followed by Stuani with 15. And leading the league in assists as well, Lionel Messi, 11. Player of the year? Probably.
Luka Modric.
The best player in the world.
Yeah.
All right, moving along over on to Italy. There's a lot of things going on here. A lot of them replays, including Inter shitting the bed, losing to Cagliari 2-1 away.
The Mauro Icardi situation is becoming ridiculous. After every win or loss, they get to do interviews about Mauro Icardi's situation. It seems like the locker room is getting annoyed. Like the concentration level isn't there. It doesn't seem like the coach has a hold of that locker room at all.
Talk about free fall.
And the way he plays them is very 10 years ago. They're not very creative. They come at you in a very like a very standard way, and they need fresh ingestion of freshness.
We hadn't heard Perisic's name like basically all fucking year until Icardi left the lineup. Own goal in this game. Way to go, Ivan. Way to go.
Lautaro Martinez has quietly been taking Icardi's position, and he scored in this game also. But I think that pretty soon the manager is gonna have to see the door, because this team.
They were. Go ahead.
AC Milan passes them this week, and Roma would have too also. But now we were talking just 3-4 weeks ago how
Inter was
comfortable they were.
They were in an island in third place. Like, we're not going to threaten second, but we're good.
The island has now moved to second place.
Nope.
And Napoli are now on an island in second place.
All these
And Inter
teams
is in a war.
all these teams have something in common. They keep playing against Tottenham. Moving along.
Well
Hater. On the other side of Milan, AC continue their fine run with a kind of a nervy 1-0 against Sassuolo.
Own
But-
goal 1-0.
But they took it.
Yeah, but they did enough to even as far as like 3-4 months ago, if AC Milan did not execute their game plan as close to perfection, they were not getting anything out of the game. And this team they got an own goal, but they managed to keep the opponent at bay and pulled out a 1-0 to move into third place.
Yeah, if you remove the top two teams in Serie A, it's kind of interesting. And this result, Lazio beating the shit out of Roma 3-0.
Dude, they literally beat the shit out of him, and that was a derby.
Mm-hmm.
And the Roma coach is now on the hottest of hot seats. He's about to get canned too because he's been this season. It's not even that in us. There's a lot of embarrassment. He's been the miracle against Barcelona seems like it happened in 2000 at this point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Even though they're up, right? In their Champions League matchup, I think.
Yeah.
2-1, yeah.
But
that don't matter if you don't fucking make next year's.
Yeah.
They're not going to win this shit.
they're not going to win this year, and they're probably going to lose in the next round anyways. But a 2-1 lead in the first leg, I think that they might get turned around. And
It's certainly possible.
That's what I'm saying.
It's certainly possible. Quick mention of Torino with the 3-0 over Chievo Verona. They've been on a nice run. Sampdoria 2-1 over Spal. Atalanta put a 3-1 on Fiorentina.
On ESPN.
Uh-huh.
ESPN showed Atlanta during the day and Atlanta at night.
Nice.
It was a cool ass double header.
The Atlanta
MLS
football,
against DC opening
United.
game. Big up. We're gonna try to shout out the MLS games every once in a while this season, and every once in a while I mean like probably 3 times.
We only got about 10, 12 match days left too.
Yeah,
Napoli hosting Juventus. 2 red cards in this game. This is just Big Brother again.
Yeah.
Some nice goals, though.
Big up Mr. Pjanic, who scored a beautiful free kick and then got a beautiful red card.
What'd you think about the original red card on the goalie?
Just like the red card, why they pull it out is so not standardized anymore that it's hard to form an opinion and just be like, no, that was undeserved, because like they give it for how you look these days.
Yeah. Emre Can had a nice header. They were up 2-0 and
Pulled it back
2-1. Yeah. After Miralem Pjanic got sent off for a handball,
and then they missed a
penalty
to fucking tie it. They want, like, if there is one team that is a bottling team, I have to say it's Napoli, because whenever they get close to success, they kind of fuck themselves
remember
up.
last year?
Yeah. After they beat Juve and did those videos and shit, and then the first game back, the guy gets a red card in 6 minutes.
Koulibaly, right? Yeah. Ugh, sucks to be you, man. Anyway, Serie A is, as we mentioned, fucking over from any championship standpoint. Juventus undefeated, only 3 draws. They are 16 points fucking clear with 12 games left. It'd be a monumental failure if they didn't win. Napoli, second place, still 8 points up on newly third place AC Milan, who are a point up on Inter, who are 3 points up on Roma. And then you have Lazio, Torino, Atalanta, all with 41 points. So they're battling for that last Europa spot. Roma better be careful there. And even Sampdoria, Fiorentina, a little bit.
I think Juventus is going to be dominant until AC Milan or Inter Milan get good. None of these fucking Napoli and Roma and stuff have the means to even remotely keep up with them.
Leaguers. League leaders in goals are Quagliarella with 19 goals. Tying Ronaldo, who has 19. And in third place is Piatek with 18.
Quagliarella averaging a goal every 2 years of his life.
Whoa.
He's what,
38.
and got 19 goals, tied for the league. Big up.
Go ahead, son. Suso and Ronaldo tied for the league lead in assists with 8. All right, moving along. Bundesliga. We already mentioned BVB feeling the pressure out here, dropping points.
The Robots team played after them.
Leverkusen 2-0 over Freiburg. Leipzig 1-0 over Nuremberg. You don't know Nuremberg?
Away.
Schalke get it beat down by Dusseldorf 4-0 at home.
Yes, that was very unfortunate.
No, very Frankfurt with a 3-2 over Hoffenheim. That's a fun game. That's a 96. Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. We might have should have looked at that game, but it's all good. 2-2 that was brought back in the 89th minute and then a 3-2 last second gas by Eintracht Frankfurt. 3-2 96th minute. Gonzalo Pacianica?
Sure. All this to just avoid the fact that Bayern Munich just went whoop all over the motherfuckers.
Oh, and Mönchengladbach. You mean the third place team. 5-1.
Yes.
Moida.
Oh. At Mönchengladbach.
At Mönchengladbach, dude.
So just in case there's any doubt. As they left there, they went and banged all their wives.
2-1 at half turned into 3-1. Super quick robot. Nabry robot again. 5-1. That's just a massacre, dude.
Yeah.
Yay, Bundesliga.
They're ready for their first place.
Yes, they are. They are tied on points. Bayern and Dortmund, as Sir Solomon mentioned earlier, 2-goal difference is all that separates them. That is now a 9-point difference for newly minted third place RB Leipzig, who are 2 points up on fourth place. Mönchengladbach, 3 points up on Frankfurt, who are a point up on Leverkusen and Wolfsburg. Hoffenheim, if he pulls off top 4 this year, man, it's looking difficult. But
they gonna get a jab at RB.
What?
Is like I think that it's more. You know how like the Stefan de Vrij situation last season. If Hoffenheim and the Red Bull are vying for the Champions League spot, who's it in his interest to be successful?
Yeah. Crazy stuff. League leader in goals here is Luka Jovic from Eintracht Frankfurt. He had 5 in that, or 6 in that one game, or whatever. Yeah.
5 in a 7-goal game.
Yep. Yeah, that's it. And then tied with Lewandowski for 15, and Tupaco with 13.
Tupaco did a lot of his work earlier in the season, though. Mm-hmm. These guys seem like they're more consistent.
Yep. Assists tied with Joshua Kimmich and Jadon Sancho with 10 apiece. Word up. League. Make them say, And last and always least, quick run through here, but there were some cool things going on. PSG with a 2-1 over Cannes. Mbappe with the Brizes. That's how that goes. That league is over too, as mentioned. Monaco get a point against Angers. Nice with a 1-0 over Strasbourg. Lille maintain their second place with a 1-0 over relegation-bound Dijon. Lyon turn around from last week's disappointing loss to a 5-1.
Yeah, they romp.
Yeah, over Toulouse, who were meant to lose, apparently. And then Olympique Marseille over Saint Etienne 2-0. And we will talk about one of those goals a little bit later.
Because there's a striker.
And his name is Bond. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen it by now if you follow soccer at all.
Monaco is 6 points out of relegation.
Oh, yeah, they're safe. They're safe.
This
all
is the. You remember when they hired Audrey? I was thinking, this is all he needed to do was get him here.
They're like 2 wins, and they're like, safe.
I said, this is a layup. All he needed to do is get him out of relegation. And you're like, I don't know. And I'm like, this is easy.
He could not do it.
And then as soon as he got fired, it's like, oh, we're good. We're out of relegation.
We got this. All right.
Creeping up on mid-table now, not even just...
It's bad. All right. Moving along, Champions League preview. Remember, there's not all teams from this round play this week. They play next week. But this week, we have Borussia Dortmund hosting Tottenham. And Tottenham are 3-0 up on this. No away goals for Dortmund. If Tottenham scores, pretty much a wrap. But
Yeah. But I'm hoping for an early Dortmund goal so that we can see some good football and some squeaky bum.
yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. But I still think that anything less than advancing for Tottenham
It's a disaster.
is a complete disaster, just because I think that Mauricio Pochettino, Harry Kane, all these people are going to just like lose their shit.
Yeah, quarterfinals would be good for them. Their project, as they call it, since they're 5 to 10 years old,
Imagine
and
you
need a
get-
magical player.
Yeah, but if you get to the quarterfinals, and now you get either Roma or Porto.
Oh, for sure.
Boom, before you know it, you're in the semis. You know, like, that's the thing about knockout football.
Yep. No, I agree. The other match that day is an interesting, very intriguing. I'm actually more interested in this one. Real Madrid hosting Ajax. Real Madrid with the 2-1.
Yes, and the Sergio Ramos suspension.
Yeah.
So Ajax, Real Madrid with the 2 away goals, but if Ajax get 2, and
Ajax got the big up from their football association and got a game pushed back so they could have more time to prep for this game. So,
good luck.
no doubt, good luck.
De Ligt, Mr. Frankie de Jong, Dusan Tadic of Southampton Pride led the line spectacularly in the first leg. They should have felt should have got more out of it. It was more defensive mistakes that led to goals. So,
Madrid.
Yes, Madrid, Real Madrid. So I think, Ajax has a difficult job ahead of them, but Madrid don't look like they're in the best of shape right now.
Absolutely. Wednesday's game. Porto hosting Roma, as we just talked about. Roma have the 2-1 here. Porto do have that away goal, so a 1-0 will see them through. Roma, I mean, this is
Roma don't lose no 1-0.
Nah, they don't.
It's like they're gonna be a nice game for them.
3-3 or
some shit.
or they
like
get their ass whooped 3-0.
Yeah, like it's not. I guarantee you that they will not. This game will not be 0-0 or 1-0.
Okay.
That's all I can give you. I have no idea who's gonna advance though.
PSG hosting Manchester United rounds out this week's games, and PSG have a 2-0. Paul Pogba suspended, and they have 10 injuries on United. I don't think they have much. They're even talking about Martial could be rested as he might be ready, but they're not. They're like, why? Top four more important.
I would agree in that sense, but I don't. He's not ready. Is basically that what it means.
He hasn't played. Like,
And if
there's no
they're not
point in bringing
playing
him out in this
him,
game.
and if they're not playing him, they don't feel that he should play. Like, because they're not trying to give back games either. You know what I'm saying? So I think PSG should finish it off. There's a 2-0 with 2 away goals.
Yeah.
So see how it goes.
Yeah. PSG should move along here. Champions League preview, man. Yeah. All right, man. We're gonna move to the forward section. How appropriate we move along to Chelsea's competition, which is Europa League. Very quickly run through these as they are in the round of 16 now. They will play both of those quick to get back on par with Champions League as far as timing is concerned. Couple interesting matchups. Zenit, that's not interesting. Frankfurt hosting Inter. That could be interesting. Stade Rennes, Arsenal. I think we went through
Did you
these, man.
seriously say the Zenit one is not interesting?
I mean,
Did you
Villarreal,
see the entrance of the last time Zenit
true.
St. Petersburg got
blew
to
some
the
shit up.
Dude, they had basically fire line of fans. I'm actually excited to see. Like, I think Villarreal might get like rocked in this double. But Betis is the only Spanish team that was in the Europa that's not still in it, and I think they have now 4 teams. They have Valencia, Villarreal, Sevilla still in it. Okay, so
Yeah, 3 teams.
3 teams. Sorry.
But still. Yeah, I got the point. Word up. For some reason, this Arsenal Stade Rennes game has been canceled. Do you know anything about that?
It's been canceled?
That's what it says on here. That's weird.
Yeah.
Napoli hosting Red Bull
It's
Salzburg.
also right there, though. Like, at the top it says canceled, but at the bottom it says...
Yeah, interesting. And Chelsea hosting Dynamo Kiev. These bigger teams that are in it. Any interest in trotting out strong team? Napoli, let me trot out a strong team here. Do they care much about this competition?
Napoli, I don't know about, but I think that it's very much within Chelsea's and Arsenal's interest to try to win this competition because
One of them's missing top four.
yeah, if they don't stop fucking around, both of them lose them top four.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. At the very least. So,
especially if I'm Arsenal, I'm like
man, I'd like to see
going hard
I'd
after
like to
it.
see what Frankfurt does here, man. They're a little sleeper team here.
And I think that Inter is there for the taking, so I think
Absolutely.
that's interesting. Slavia Prague, I don't know how they're going to be against Sevilla, but if they... Sevilla keeps advancing in the Europa, you know? Napoli, man, this will be our upset call. Red Bull Salzburg beats Napoli.
Yep. I can easily see it. They semifinals last year. I think we talked about them as they played Leipzig or whatnot. RB.
Yeah, the RB
Battles
Derby.
of the RB.
RB Derby.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's weird. It's in two places. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, maybe because they just moved it and did whatever. Who gives a fuck? Word up,
Apparently
man.
you do.
Dinamo Zagreb, Benfica rounds that out. That's Europa, man. We'll holler at you when there's some results to talk about. Awards, prestigious and egregious D4G award section. Dude of the week goes to
Fabio Quagliarella.
for being old as hell and scoring
And
so many
being the
goals.
was tied for top scorers with one of the most expensive players to ever
That's all they
play
had to do
things
is
that
sign
things
Quagliarella.
and things.
Sign Quagmire, man.
Yeah, for like $2 million, and they could have had 19 goals, but
Yeah.
they wouldn't have the flying vagina celebration.
Flying vagina. The church, the flying vagina. Goal of the goal of the week.
Goal of the week we are giving to. Oh, he's a striker. Go Balotelli.
The official D4G, the unofficial D4G sponsor.
But striker, me no Balotelli.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wonderful goal, though.
Wonderful bicycle kick, scissors kick, some sort of a volley move. But then
TO'd him, dog.
Yeah.
TO'd him.
ran to the sideline. Team employee passes him a phone, gets on Instagram.
It's not even a selfie. Dude does
It's
an
an Instagram
video.
story. He's like, yeah, come on, teammates. First time in history. Balotelli be making history.
Dope, man. He got to love being down there, dude. Like,
Dude, Marseille is the people's team. Balotelli fancies himself the people's man. He gives away half his salary to just poor people in Africa.
for real?
Yeah, he's been doing that for many years. A lot of people just see the asshole like looking guy, but like he's a very tries to give back and doesn't really care about the higher life, you know.
Word up. Man, congratulations, Balotelli. I think it's maybe the second or third award you've had this year on D4G.
Dude, keep getting it. Keep getting
Yeah.
it.
That's like his fourth goal for Marseille.
Yeah, man.
Ball out.
Been doing his thing, and he got a good assist on one of them too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
Upcoming. I'm going to start mentioning, since we're the last 10 games here, even if they ain't big games, they're big games because of the teams involved. Bundesliga, Dortmund plays at home to Stuttgart, and Bayern play at home to Wolfsburg. A little bit tougher for for Bayern, but, you know, doesn't matter at this point.
I think Stuttgart might give Dortmund some issues, not just because of their Stuttgart, because they suck this year, but like Dortmund is in the middle. I don't know. We'll see how the game goes with Tottenham.
Wednesday. Yeah, for sure. EPL, City are at home to Watford. Liverpool are at home to Burnley. Neither a gimme.
Neither give me both tough bruising games. Both the favorites should be. If you're trying to be a champion, they should both win. But these are Watford away, Burnley away. These are tough games. We'll see how it goes. Early goals, watch out. Early goal is really puts the game
Yeah,
lets you play your football.
Yeah, Burnley shows up and scores early or something like that, or or vice versa. I guess
It's not even that. I think that for City and Liverpool, them scoring early lets them play their football.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know whether Burnley scores early. Like if they do, it's a disaster. But I'm just saying, like if they even hold them and don't get them to score for a longer period of time, then it gets more pressure filled.
The big match in the EPL though would be considered Arsenal get no rest for the weary and they host United.
Yeah, that's going to be the game. They're playing at around the same level in the league, so they're like this is what they would call as a European 6-pointer.
6-pointer, yeah,
So
huge. See what Emery fucks around and does in this game, and United will be injured as hell. So interesting. Word up, and that match is in the books. Diving for Glory, episode 28, season 2. Thank you so much for tuning in. We appreciate anyone who takes the time to listen to us. Don't forget, we post every Monday and every Thursday on iTunes, YouTube, and divingforglory.com. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook at Diving for Glory. Of course, YOLO, Sir Solomon.
we out.
Hello.
Diving.
What do you think of condoms?
He's not a man. There's nothing more to say.
Diving.
Glory.